Hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
dive deeper into TCS, examine its growth drivers, its products, platforms, and services, and how do these help it to consolidate its growth. Before we proceed further, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the notification bell for the latest updates. Current growth drivers. Global tech There were three key reasons why prices outsourced more in financial year 22. The need to free up people as well as financial towards TCS business model. Even the largest supplier only has a mid-single-digit market share in the highly fragmented global IT services market. TCS is among the top global providers of IT services with a 2.3% market share. Microsoft Power BI currently the smartest in many careers right now. For the past 54 years, TCS, an organization that provides IT services, consulting, and business solutions, has worked alongside many of the biggest companies in the world as they undergo transformation. The business has a global presence, extensive domain expertise, and a full portfolio of offerings grouped under consulting and service.
Okay, I know college is over and you're awaiting to go home, right? किसको जल्दी जाना है घर? नहीं जाना है? Okay, great. So just I would like to have 5-10 minutes of yours before starting with the actual program. I hope you know the posters that you've seen right now on the dais itself. Lakshmi Nair ma'am, she is very much senior leader from our decision-making authorities. So she will be definitely going to share few insights, thought process with you guys, so you can prepare well in your careers, in your curriculums as well. Rishikesh sir, I hope you know him. He is our academic alliance group manager for Pune region. He is having some inputs as well, apart from the regular recruitment process. Prerna Sinha ma'am, she is the HR head for a specific business unit, which is banking and finance sector. And I am leading the campus recruitment process, meaning for the next of years, once you are in the final year, how many fourth year, please? Just raise your hands. Okay. Third years? Okay, so majorly third of years will be there for the next year itself, right? For the fourth one, definitely those who are getting the interview process right now with other companies or who are registered with us for the interview process, I'll be the one who will be able to have the recruitment process complete for you. So before that, I am just having an announcement. Though Santosh had already shared, or Susma ma'am have already shared with you guys, it's Vita. I hope सबको कोड बीटा पता है? आके सगळ्यांना कोड बीटा काय आहे? It's a competition. It's not a hiring event. It's a competition, and you'll be competing with not only your college mates, or your city mates, or region, or not even your country mates. People from the international universities, you'll be competing with them. Beauty of this contest is you can attain this competition from anywhere. I'm saying anywhere, from your home, from institute, from bus stand, railway station, जहां जहां पे आपको internet मिलता है, from there also you can attend this competition itself. Coding आनी चाहिए, and you should love that. Coding आता है, और मैं कर सकता हूँ. Definitely this is for you itself. 3 rounds: pre-qualifier, qualifier, and grand finale. Pre-qualifier will be in between the month of November or December, and we are in zone 2. In that, in case you perform well, and in case you are in first 1,000, I'm saying 1,000 across globe. So definitely, in case you are in a third year, you may have post-dated offer as well chance. मतलब तुम अभी से ही ऑफर लेके बैठ सकते हो. Fourth year, in case you have not appeared for an interview process in these days by the XYZ reason, you can get an interview chance as well. Apart from that, I hope सबको prize money पता है कोड बीटा की क्या है. First, $10,000. Second is $7,000. Third is $3,000. It will be of let's start with the first pre-qualifier. Pre-qualifier में होता क्या है? It's a zone 2 that we'll be having. In zone 2, you'll be having 12 hours to solve 6 coding questions in any programming language that you love, that you can code with open book system. Meaning, अगर आपको कोड सर्च करना है गूगल, बुक ओपन करके देखना है, you can do that. किसी सोर्स कोड से उठा के वहां पे कोड करना है, you can do that. Only the thing is, only the condition is, जहां से कोड उठा रहे हो, जहां से रिजेंबल देख रहे हो, उसको आपको वो मेंशन करना है from this source code, this website, this page, I have got that reference. The same 6 questions, 6 problem statements. You need to code that 6 in a 12 hours in any time. I'm saying like 12 to 12 if in case the timeline is there, that doesn't mean कि आपको 12 बजे आके login करना है, आपको solve करना है, या फिर लास्ट के 1 घंटे में solve करना है. It's up to you guys. आप उस 12 घंटे में कभी भी login कर सकते हो, कभी भी कोड कर सकते हो, and it's up to you कि आप उसको 1 घंटे में सारे 6 के 6 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो, फिर 12 घंटे में 6 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो. It's up to you. So that is the process. Registration simple है. codevita.tcsapp.com. The site is already given to you. I suggest you to open your mobile. It is easy, very much easy that you can do it right now. It will take hardly 10 minutes to do that one. Open your mobile and you can find on Google. Just type CodeVita season 12. Just search it. The very first page that you will be finding it out. It is our page itself. It is open for all from first year till final year. Any branch, any specialization, we are okay with. Only एक ही चीज है या एकच गोष्ट आहे इथे त्याच्यामध्ये प्रोग्रामिंगचा किडा आहे. इट इज ओपन फॉर ऑल. ज्यांना ज्यांना कोडिंग करायची इच्छा आहे, कोडिंग येतं, कोडिंग जमतं, कोड करू शकतात, ही कोडिंग कॉम्पिटिशन सगळ्यांसाठी आहे. So first page, once you search, you'll find CodeVita, codevita.tcs.com, right? Click on register. The things that I have mentioned right now in the same वहाँ पे वेबसाइट पे आपको मिलेगी. Now register. Click on register. It will ask you simple 4 questions. First, what is your first name? सगळ्यांना आपलं पहिलं नाव माहिती आहे, right? माहिती आहे ना? तुमच्या मित्रांना पण माहित असेल. Okay, so first name, then last name, then email address, and then username. These are the first questions. 4 questions that you'll find it out. Fill it out. Sir, can I call you in a session right now? codevita.tcsapp.com, then click on register. Save. Register region, which is India. First name, last name, email address, username. Username might not take dot. Apart from dot, you need to select another special character. Maybe under will be easy for you guys. मी तर करू टाकू. Okay, so these 4 things that you need to mention. Once done, register करने के बाद you'll be redirected to the new page itself. In that registration page, you need to mention college name, location, year of passing, then one unique number which is called as reference number, TCS reference number, which you'll have it from after registration in the next step portal. That reference number you can enter later words as well. We are okay, but that first basic registration you should have it right. After that registration, entire things done, there will be one more mock vita. I'm saying mock vita. Mock vita is the one which will help you to prepare yourself for pre-qualified rank. Pre-qualified जब भी होगा वो कैसा होता है, प्लेटफॉर्म कैसे रन करता है, what are the things that you should have it while having coding, what should be done, what not to be done. These things will be there in a mock vita. And it is happening in a periodical time itself. But एक week के बाद beta. I suggest in case you have not yet registered yourself, go ahead, register yourself, prepare, And if in case you are good, definitely me, Santosh sir, Sushma ma'am will help you out towards $50 prize money. फोर्थ वाले नहीं दिख रहे, मुझे थर्ड वाले कोई दिख नहीं रहे इंटरेस्टेड. थर्ड ईयर नहीं है इंटरेस्टेड कोई? नहीं है? ओके. तो भी I'll tell you one more thing. I'll say post date offer भी मिलता है. I'll show you one more thing in case this might help you. Top 25 in a finale will receive a certificate which will register yourself saying like this candidate is good in programming knowledge, and this only certificate can help you out to get a job. Don't you think like this is a fascinating as well? The certificate also will help you out to get a job, not in TCS I'm saying, in other companies too. You can add an advantage in your CV as well. So suggest go ahead, at least participate to check like मुझे कितना coding आता है, how much I can compete with other students, how much I can compete with the other university people or international universities as well. Only one thing that I was discussing with Sushma ma'am, Santosh sir, we had 11 seasons till date, out of which that 11 season, only 4 seasons were there where Indian student had grabbed this opportunity. 4 ही सीजन हुए हैं जहां पे इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स ने ये प्राइज मनी जीता है, फर्स्ट, सेकंड एंड नंबर as well. बाकी सारे जो बचे 6 सीजन्स हुई हैं, everywhere the international students had won that competition itself. And in that entire 11 season, only one season was there jahan pe our region student had got a second prize. So me, my entire campus recruitment team from TCS Pune, Nagpur, also the training and placement department, we are trying to like at least minimum 5 students from our region should be in the finale to perform and to have a Pune region's name over there. Me and Sushma ma'am, we are trying for that. Like, why not that 5 students from RSU itself? Okay, for that, definitely I'm looking for your help. Only the registration is not required. Participation is important. So looking forward that all students will register and will participate in all the rounds itself, pre-qualifier, qualifier, and finale as well. Looking forward at least 5 students to participate in that. Thank you. Thank you so much. पीछे
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Ajay. So we will start in next 4 to 5 minutes. They are already here for a cup of coffee. We had fantastic 90 minutes with them. And they have seen all your work, effort in different labs, and they are coming and entering to this room with lot of expectations कि इस college के बच्चे ऐसे हैं. So enjoy every moment, try to learn, and do not hesitate to ask the questions. Done? Thank you.
evening, everyone. On behalf of JSPM's Rajarshi Shahu College of Engineering, I welcome you all. It is indeed a moment of pride for all of us to host such an esteemed event where the industry meets academia, and we have the honor of interacting with distinguished guest leaders from Tata Consultancy Services. Before we begin, I extend a heartfelt welcome to our dignitaries for today's event. Our Assistant Director, SP&IR, Chairman at Federation of Training and Placement Officer, Dr. S.P. Rao Borde, sir, all our deans, respected HODs, faculty members, and students. It is truly an honor to have each one of you here as a part of this incredible engagement. To start the event on an auspicious note, let us invoke the blessings of Goddesses Saraswati, the goddesses of knowledge, wisdom, and learning. I now invite Anushka to lead us in Saraswati Vandana. Let us all rise for this divine invocation.
कुंदेन्दु तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभुतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यपहा शेषजाड्यपहा.
Thank you, Anushka, for that beautiful and soulful performance. Moving forward, I now invite Dr. S.P. Rao Borde, sir, our Assistant Director, SP&IR, to welcome all the dignitaries and guests for today's event. Sir, please.
Namaskar. Good afternoon. So let me take this honor to welcome Lakshmi Nair ma'am, Prerna Sinha ma'am, Rishikesh Dande sir, and Vishal Ramke sir. Before I start with some context setting, let me take few pointers to understand where we stand as a relation with TCS. So I take this honor and opportunity to go back and traverse where we are, how we are. Most of you may or may not be knowing this college has started in 2001, and our first batch, only 3 departments that time, computer, IT, EMTC, passed out in 2005. Hardly 150 students and maybe 10 or 12 faculty, only one building. And this auditorium was not there, at least the way it is now. So just go back and think, if there was not a prominent name associated with your college in 2005 or 6, where would have we been today? Difficult journey it would have been. So TCS was the first company who trusted us as a new college, and in 2006-07, they helped us to go through their rigorous accreditation process. It's not NBA NAC accreditation, it was TCS accreditation process. 2006-07, we got our first accreditation as grade C. There were 3 levels at that time, C, B, and A. A was for elite institutes like IITs. So first, our interfacing with TCS started when we used to have 20 or 30 so-called eligible students. 2012, we got re-accredited by TCS with improvement in our grade as grade B. So from 2005 as a first batch, till 2016, or even more, I would say 18, when people used to ask me, is this the only company who hires from your college? And technically, that was the company with highest numbers from the 2006 to 2016 or 18. And you may not be, the amount of students, the amount of alumni who may be working in TCS, maybe if I am right or wrong, I don't know statistically, but I think 40% of our alumni must be working in TCS at different locations and different positions. So that kind of association it has been. Cut to, it was not only about placements when it comes to TCS. We had a lot of interesting assignments also in between. One typical program got launched somewhere in 2016-17 with the name remote internship. Those days, the internship was not popular the way it is popular today. That time also, TCS was the first company of that time who took this initiative, where 3 colleges from this region were identified for this association. During remote internship, third year, pre-final year students used to get screened the way you are getting screened for your final interviews. And the selected students used to be mapped for certain business units in TCS. If I remember, it was a manufacturing unit or maybe EIS, engineering services. And then students used to speak the language of, I am working with this account and that account at that age in 2016. So that was a ahead of times kind of assignment we had. Today, when we talk about Japanese as a language on this campus, you may not be knowing again that this whole initiative of getting into the game of Japanese as a language got started with TCS only in 2016. TCS then picked 4 colleges, I think from Maharashtra, and we got that opportunity being one of them. And that day and today, we are today known as one of the colleges deliver consistently on N5s and N4s. But that whole credit goes to TCS because if they would not have given that opportunity that time, today things would have been different. There are many stories, but one thing is you are more like placement people, mean and offer and then package. Since 2012 till last year, whenever TCS result was out, it stood first in terms of number of offers. And with the introduction of digital and prime, so in your language, 7 LPA and 9 LPA, the language you understand at this generation, most of the students are getting these 7 and 9 LPAs. And 9 LPA was very latest. I mean, last batch it started, and still our students got good number of double-digit offers for prime as well. So I think we had around 57 offers of digital and prime. But is it the only placement or an outcome we should think when we are looking at TCS? The answer is no. Because right from childhood, many of the things you would have witnessed and felt, somehow they would have been close to a word Tata. कल स्टैंपिंग के लिए जाओगे ना कहीं तो वहां पे भी TCS आएगा, घड़ी पहनी है तो वहां पे भी आएगा, नमक तो खाया होगा टाटा का. So it is more about values. It's being there in that culture and growing. And today when we have a special guest, she is based in USA, and this initiative started by TCS very recently, where the leaders from TCS are moving and visiting the students of their strategic partner locations. So this is that kind of initiative where it is like giving back. So I believe you as an audience of pre-final year from different branches will appreciate it and will give you 100% ear and mind to this entire talk. We'll be more happy when you interact more and ask more questions which are relevant. And then the kind of association we are already in, I believe that RSUE or JSPM as a group still need to travel a long path, and that whole journey depends on you and your attitude, your behavior, and especially your competency and performance. So there are a lot of many things, sir, but in the interest of the time, I welcome all the four important people from TCS. We call them the friend. So, बुरा वक्त, अच्छा वक्त. Recession जब आया था, याद किसकी आई थी? TCS की आई थी ना? So that is what it is. When relation is strategic, it is more meaningful and more joyful. So with this, I wish you all the very best. And before I sign off, I would like to thank every single team member of SP&IR, all the volunteers who took all the pains. Take that pain more for next 190 minutes, and then we are done for the day. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. It is my pleasure to introduce the distinguished guests who have graced us with their presence today from Tata Consultancy Services. We have with us Ms. Lakshmi Nair ma'am, the head of BFSI, Southeast Banking and Insurance at TCS. Ms. Nair's credible leadership in steering teams and strategies in the banking and insurance sector makes her an inspiring figure for all of us. She's a remarkable leader in her domain with 26 years of experience. I request Dr. SP Borde sir to felicitate Ms. Lakshmi Nair ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We are also honored to have Ms. Prerna Sinha ma'am, the HR head of BFSI, Southeast Banking and Insurance. Ma'am is a HR leader with close to 17 years of experience of delivering business impact at an organizational level, spanning roles across strategic HR business partnering, processes and efficiency improvements, organizational effectiveness and recruitment. I request Sushma Nair ma'am to felicitate Ms. Prerna Sinha ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next, we are delighted to welcome Mr. Rishikesh Dhande, sir, the region head for the Academic Alliances Group at TCS Pune. Sir has 21 plus years of experience in IT industry in various roles, currently heading Academic Alliances Group Foundation at TCS Pune. He has 13 plus years of IT experience with emphasis on client interaction, requirements, software development, and testing. I request Dr. Tushar sir to felicitate Mr. Rishikesh Dhande sir. Thank you, sir. We welcome Mr. Vishal Rampalle, sir, the branch campus recruitment lead at TCS Pune. He is involved in campus leading, recruitment, sourcing, client handling, client management, induction and onboarding, campus recruitment, talent development, engagement, management, resource management activities. I request Nitin sir to felicitate Mr. Vishal Rampalle, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to hand over to Ms. Prerna Sinha ma'am to share her thoughts and insights with us.
Audible, right? Okay. All of you awake after a good long day of college, lunchtime? Awake, right? All of you awake? Yes. I'm not going to take too much of time because we would really want to hear from Lakshmi and more so ever we would want to interact with you. We've a couple of videos to show you, but then I'll just share a little bit of experience that I have had, right? Close to 18 years back, post my MBA, I was on the other side of the table. I was one of you sitting in similar kind of campus,
listening to some of the leaders here, and 18 years back, I'm here on this side, and it's always nostalgic to come back to campuses and interact with students, because it's you who make the future of industries and companies like us, right? So we always believe that unless we give you the opportunity, you will not be able to showcase what you have to showcase for us or bring the value on the table. When I was being recruited, again, salary, compensation, typically when you do your graduation and you do MBA, that becomes one of the criteria. What's the offer that the company is going to place? And then we decide, should I sit for this company? Should I sit for that company? But I think one thing which is very straight in my mind, there are a lot of companies which come, a lot of banking companies come, which give you a good package. But something which is brought in through my family lineage as well. If there's a group company coming in, sit with it and crack it. And I think that just happened. I think universe conspired. Something happened. I came in TCS and I'm here with TCS 18 years later. So we have a video for you. Right? The video that we're going to show now is a video in a format that we would have seen today. Companies only grown, more companies got added to the Tata group. So we would first have a quick view into the video, and then I'll have a few questions for you guys. Sure. Should you be choosing headphones or the speaker? Out. Sorry for the delay, technical glitch. Murphy's Law, right?
1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are a $150 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Our today is about delivering excellence across business sectors. Our today is about building a future-ready nation. Our today has a strong foundation with community at its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Our today is always about more than just today. Our today is a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata, leadership, trust.
As I said, this video has only grown bigger. The latest addition to our group was the airlines. And when I say airlines, it's not that we got back Air India, which was a pride for Tata Group at a point in time when it was our airlines, which was started by Mr. J.R.D. Tata. Then it was called Tata Airlines. But it's also about that we've started now the business of manufacturing planes, right? It's not alone that we have a Vistara or an Air India with us, but it's also about that part. So the vast group company that you see, we do everything. So anytime, any point in a day, there's no day which can pass by without we using any of the Tata Group products. The only business that Tata has not invested in, and I don't think in near future we would do, is into tobacco and alcohol. That's the only business that we've not kind of got into, and I don't think there's a plan. So this is what the group is all about. And today when we have Lakshmi here, you will have seen a lot of leaders from TCS come and speak to you more during your pre-placement talks, just to give you what is it that we have to offer. Today's discussion is a little different. The discussion is more, we'll have a lot of local leaders who will come and talk to you, people who are based in Pune who can tell you about what business we are, what do we have, what kind of business projects that we have. But she gives you a very different perspective, a perspective of close to 3 decades of her experience in the company, where she's worked across various geographies. She joined TCS as one of you, close to 3 decades back, 27 years back. And today she's heading one of the biggest group that I can talk about, a unit, the way we call it in TCS. She has vast experience of working across geographies, doing a lot of transformation projects. Currently, she is heading a lot of customers within a particular business unit, which takes care of capital markets, banking, and insurance customers. Lakshmi is also an award winner for Best Women Professionals in one of the industry. So, I mean, you're gonna get from her a lot of rich experience that she carries with her. Utilize the next few minutes when you interact with her and make it much more conversational than it to be a one-sided, make it a dialogue than a one-sided conversation, so that you get to understand what is in it for you on the other side, right? So before I call upon Lakshmi for this, I would just want you guys to have a view at TCS video, another video where we talk a little bit more about TCS. You saw a video which was more about Tata Group, right? A small video on TCS. What do we do in TCS? I think presentation started. Okay, while the video comes up, quick trivia. Which is the largest employer in the world? Yes, there's a hand up there. Now the person is thinking. Sorry? Walmart? No. But just because we are Tata Group, we are Tata Group. Largest employer in the world. Lakshmi will talk more, but I'll not leave you with that question open. Before I hand it over to Lakshmi, Indian Defense Services is the top employer in the world, right? And in top 10 employers, there are 3 Indian companies, if I can say so, which is including government organizations. In the top employers in the world, there are 3 companies from India who are there. Indian Defense, of course, it's on the top rank. Then we have Indian Railways, followed by Tata Group, right? And when we talk about India, it is again Indian Defense, followed by Indian Railways and TCS. Forget Tata Group. So that's what we bring to you on the platter. So with that, without further ado, Lakshmi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hear me properly? I know it's the end of the day, right? So I'm not sure how I'm going to make this interesting for you, but I'll try. I know we have a few slides, but I think you have a gist of what TCS and Tata is about. Yeah? Right. So I'll talk a little bit about my career and, and I'll give you a perspective in terms of, how I can almost understand and hear the thoughts that you have in your mind when you are in pre-final year. So I'll try and relate it to what we do in the business. But before that, let me ask you, how many of you know or understand technology? Raise your hands. For almost all of you? Yeah? How many of you know and understand business? Can anyone tell me what business means? I also have spoken to your professors and they told me that business is now an integral part of what you do as part of your curriculum here. So what does business mean? Anyone? Yeah. Providing some kind of value to someone? Fantastic. Anyone else? Anyone else about what business is? Yeah.
Business is about solving problems of the people and working on the solutions.
Very good. Is it important for business and technology to come together?
Yes.
You all agree, right? So as much as you understand technology, if you do not know how technology has to be applied to the business, then one cannot be without the other. And I think that is important, and I'm glad that your teachers are telling you that. So my name is Lakshmi Nair. I'm based in the US. This September, I completed 27 years with TCS. My only job. I did my BTech in electrical and electronics, which has got nothing to do with what I'm doing today or in the last 27 years. But I did that. And then I did my MTech in control systems from, both these are from colleges in Kerala, which is where I'm from. The folks, I did MTech because I didn't know what to do after BTech. I thought I don't think I would get a job immediately. So, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I thought maybe I should study for 2 more years to figure, maybe I'll be able to figure that out in 2 years. So I did I wrote the GATE exam. I hope that's what you have to write even now, right? To get into MZ. So I wrote that and I got selected in control systems. And while doing control systems, I realized a couple of things, right? I realized that I don't want to teach. My parents are both professors. So my mom was instigating me, saying, oh, it's a 9-to-5 job. You should get married, have a happy life, and I realized, no, that's not what I want to do. Almost 50% of my classmates who studied control systems with me are now working in ISRO in a 9-to-5 job. And I realized I don't want a 9-to-5 job. I realized I want to travel. I want to see the world. I probably want to join a corporate, but I didn't know what a corporate job means, right? Until TCS came to our campus in Kerala and selected me. And that was, I think, when I did my first year MTech, where I got selected. I joined on September 3rd, 1997. So I just finished 27 years this month. I started off as a developer. In those days, mainframe was a big thing. We didn't have the kind of curriculum that you guys have now. So we didn't, like electrical and electronics, we didn't get too much of computers as part of a class. I think I would have learned Pascal, and that's about it. So I knew computers, but not well enough. But TCS had an amazing 3-month training course that we did, and I did my training in Chennai. So that sort of laid the foundation for, what would be my computer career in TCS. And I was a developer. Many of you are developers right now in college, but I became a developer and I did development for about 8 years. One of the things about my career is I've lived around the world. So I'm sure everybody associates software companies like TCS with on-site opportunities. So my first client in TCS was a Swiss stock exchange. So though I joined TCS Chennai, I also went to Zurich in Switzerland, where I spent about 2 years. And then I moved to my second client in TCS, which was Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, as many of you know, today we have a captive, I believe, in Pune and Bombay, right? Morgan Stanley, so you're familiar with the client. So they do capital markets and investment banking. So that was my second client. I worked in Morgan Stanley in Chennai and London. So from Zurich, I went back to Chennai and then I went to London. I think I was about 8 years experienced when I decided that I had enough of Chennai. I wanted to move to Bangalore. So I moved to Bangalore. And I became part of one of our largest customers in TCS called Bank of America. I did Bank of America for about 8 years between Bangalore, US, and Hyderabad. So I switched between these locations every 2 to 3 years. And then in 2009, when I was in Hyderabad, I got an opportunity to work with Australian banks. So I did Westpac for some time in Sydney. So while I was based in Hyderabad, I had to travel to Sydney every 3 months to meet the customers and sort of, progress on the work that we were doing there. And in 2011, I got married, so I couldn't move around anymore. I did one final move to the US, and in the last 12 years, I've been in the US in different roles. And in the last 6-7 years, I've been heading business units of different size. And early this year, I got promoted into a business head. So I report into the president of banking for TCS, who reports into the CEO of TCS. So if you want to know the hierarchy, that is what it is. I've loved, the journey that I've had. One of the reasons when everyone tells me 27 years in the same company, I've not felt how this 27 years have gone by. And I think it is partly because of the fact that I've worked with different customers, I've worked in different locations, the kind of experience that I got from, the wide range of opportunities that I've done hasn't given me time, to be honest, to think about moving out, and there wasn't any other reason for me to move in. And I think your dean said this just now. It's about the value, right? It's about, is the company giving you things for you to learn? Is it helping you grow as a person? Is it giving you opportunities to expand? And I think TCS sort of gave me all of that. It has not been an easy journey for somebody who doesn't come from a computer background. You always will have that fear. I know many of you are from different disciplines, and I think there was also a question, especially from mechanical students, as to how would you switch to computers and technology, right? See, what I told this to your professors, it doesn't matter which discipline that you are in, it is important that you have to have a very strong foundation. If you look at the kind of work that we do, and many of you gave me fantastic answers in terms of how do we add value to the business. So the work that TCS does is where we build software solutions for banks, insurance companies, manufacturers, healthcares, pharmacies, retail, corporations. What else do we do? I mean, this is the plethora of consumer goods. We do government service softwares as well. So in all of this, technology remains constant. Maybe in some technologies are used more than the other, but what differentiates one from the other is the domain. And you have to learn that anyway as part of being in a company. So if you have a strong foundation and an aptitude to learn, then everything else will fall in place. I think you have to have that curious mindset to be able to juggle a lot of things like technology, communication, domain, process. All of this will have to come together for your career to be more meaningful and more rounded. I believe that all of us, would think about a career because we want a more successful career. We see ourselves going places, right? So when you start thinking about a long-term career, it doesn't matter which company you choose for that, but it's important for you to look at it holistically, not just, just look at pieces of it. Now, when we take associates for the projects that we do for our customers, the team is always a balanced mix. We have a mix of seniors as well as folks like you who've just come in from colleges. We take a lot of effort to train them and to make sure that they are able to do the work. So while the company offers a lot, I think there is a lot that has to come from you as well in terms of making effective use of those trainings. Even, for example, the internships that you do before joining corporates, they become the first introduction of you to a corporate. So if you have an opportunity to do an internship, I would encourage you to do it with the utmost sincerity, because what you see in the corporate is probably an extrapolation of what you do as part of your internship. I'll just wait during the question without delving into a lot of it, but just to give you a quick synopsis, I think you saw the Tata video, one of the largest conglomerates that the world has ever seen, with about 110 billion in revenues. And I think Prerna said that the third largest employer. Even though TCS is the technology arm for the Tata Group, all the technology projects in Tata doesn't get done by TCS. So we have to compete with all the other providers in the market for any work that comes from Tata as well, which is why Tata is also known as a very unbiased organization. Just because it owns a technology company doesn't mean that we get all of it. We have to get merited to get that piece of work as well. And when you move on to TCS, can we move to the next slide, please? We just clocked about 29 billion in revenue on an annual basis and about 7 billion, 600,000 associates and counting. And I'm not going to go through it, but in terms of nationalities, women in workforce, I think we're very proud of the women that we have in the company, and there is a lot of focus in improving the number of women that we have as part of our leadership team as well. And if you go further down, we have, I just spoke about, so when I talked about businesses and some of you said that, business is about giving value, business is about improving the customer experience, business is also about the domain that you service. So for example, if you were to build a portal, I think many of you, I was looking at your incubation labs and saw some of the work that you've done. The portal that you develop for insurance company would be completely different from a portal that you will build for a car manufacturing company. So like, for example, if you go and many of you may have online banking accounts. If you go into ICICI.com, right, that is the portal, the way the ICICI.com portal works is different from how the, how the way the portal would work from I don't know, Maruti Suzuki portal if you want to buy a car online. And for the people who are developing the portals, maybe both the portals might be developed using the technology of Java, but the requirements that is required for ICICI.com is going to be completely different from the requirements that are needed for a Maruti Suzuki portal. And unless you understand the business, you will not be able to do the portals properly, even if you know Java as a technology. So that is why in TCS, we insist upon building your contextual knowledge, which is more about the business of the customer that you're servicing, in addition to the technology needs. So when all of you are going through your various activities and projects, please make it a point to also understand the business behind the technology that you are deploying. The second most important thing is also communication. Like, you should be able to talk about the projects that you're doing. If you have we have situations where we give resumes to the customers, and during the interviews, people are not even able to explain their own resumes. And that comes from, your ability to sort of explain to another person in terms of the importance of the work that you have done, the kind of skills that you possess, and why, if selected, what is the value that you would add for them. So, these are some of the things that you should also think about, in addition to, whatever your day-to-day stuff is. Moving on, we have a portfolio of services as well. I think many of these disciplines are also embedded, I believe, in your curriculum, from cybersecurity to IoT to, I also heard about, I saw your automation and robotics lab. So I know a lot of these things are also being, it's a good thing that you're introduced to this services right away, before you even join a job. So you're more familiar with some of these things before you actually start doing the work for a customer. And this is my unit. Oh, sorry, this is the overall BFSI. So BFSI means banking, financial services, and insurance. It's the largest business group in TCS. I believe 39% of the revenue that TCS earns comes from BFSI. And I've worked in BFSI the entire 27 years. So we service retail banks, custodians, investment banks, wealth management, global insurance. So anything to do with finance is what we deal with. We've got about 150,000 employees, and we service about 450 customers across of 55 countries. Moving on. So this is, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but, the good thing that I'm happy about, when I've spent the time today, is that a lot of the trends that we see in the industry for which work is done by us for our customers is already being practiced by you. So that's a good thing. I think what would help is if you understand the relevance of what you're doing onto the bigger business perspective. I think that will sort of help you progress even further. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I think we will pass it on for questions now, right? Okay. All right then. Happy to take any questions. Fernand, Rishi.
Guys, use what? Yes.
You have had a very long career. So, ma'am, what are the biggest
You make
challenges?
me sound old.
So, what were the biggest challenges that you may have faced till now?
See, the challenges, please sit down. The challenges are different on, depending upon the phase of your career. So I'll sort of give you I'll see how I can answer your question. So in the beginning, when I was a developer, it was about learning technologies, right? You have to, many of those things like the coding of the technologies that I was doing it for the first time. How do you learn more of it and sort of, contribute towards the project that you're working in is something that, and of course, when you move from one customer to the other customer, every customer is different. A European customer is different from a UK customer. So how do you behave towards those customers? What makes them happy? What are the things that they don't like? It is also, so there are a lot of other dynamics that comes into play when you're in corporate, not just about the technology. So those were the things that were challenging. After I moved into a management role, the biggest challenge was how do I make my team work? Because up until then, I just had to code a few lines and sort of get my work done. But when you are moving into a managerial or leadership level, there are so many things that you have to manage where you don't have control over things. So it's about how do you bring the teams together. And when I say teams, I don't just mean, I mean global teams. So I have, for example, I have teams based in India. I have teams based in Latin America. I have teams which are based in Middle East. And they all come from different races as well. So how do we bring in all of their strengths together to, to deliver a piece of work in different time zones is been a challenge. But over a period of time, when you develop teams, your investment in people is the best thing to do. So when you develop teams, you will figure out that there are ways in terms of they become better, and then your life also becomes a lot more easier. I think the current challenge that we are facing is technology is changing every day. So there are new things coming up. Today, the customers are more demanding in terms of the kind of skills they need. So earlier, if you could get a Java person or a .NET person, it was fine. Now it is full stack Java or React Java. And then it should be somebody who knows Java plus cloud or Java plus AI. So developing that kind of talented people is become a lot more challenging now, which is where all of you would come into play. But I think it has been fun. I feel life is not fun if you do not have challenges, and you don't have a job if you don't have challenges. So it's all is good. But I hope I answered your question. I think there's somebody there.
Hello. Very good evening, ma'am. It was an absolute delight listening to you. I am Shreya Kerul from Electronics and Telecommunication Department. So my question to you is, TCS being the third employer of India, how can I, as an individual, grow within the company and grow with the company? So yeah, that's my question to you.
Okay. Grab every opportunity. it is, opportunities may not necessarily come to you. Sometimes you have to go after opportunities. So one of the things that I have done is, at any point of time where I have felt that my career is stagnant, I've gone asking for work. So at times what happens is you may have to juggle two roles together, because you've basically gone and asked for more work, and you need to sort of manage it. But there's always going to be a time when you become smarter, and you have to figure out at that point. So that the first thing is, don't let your career stagnate. It is important for you to always do things which you feel will add value to the organization. The second thing is, there is no work that is small or big. It's not, I always listen to some of our associates saying, oh, I will work only in an extremely new greenfield development project. I will not work in production support. But if like a leader like me, if I have to go and talk to my customers, I have to learn how to talk everything. I cannot go to my customer who is, all of you know who a CIO is, right? Do you know who a CIO is of a company? Yes? No?
There's a mama.
Yes, who is a CIO of a company? Chief Information. The CIO is the person who heads the technology for any company. Okay? So if you know what's the most difficult thing about a CIO is to make sure that his production runs well. There are CIOs who've lost their jobs because of outages in their production systems, because things have not gone well. So when I go and speak to a CIO of a company, I cannot tell him, no, I don't want to talk about your production, let's talk only development. That's not a choice that I have. And I can talk about development and production support in the same breath, because I've worked in both of it. So I think it is important for us to experience all of it. There is no good work and bad work. It's work, and every work will give you some strengths that you may not think it is important to you at that point of time, but believe me, it will help you in the future. And the third is, be flexible. I think the hardest thing to find today is attitude. Just having that attitude that I will be able to do everything, I am okay to do everything, and flexibility will pay off. One of the reasons that I've grown with the organization is also because of my flexibility to move around. I have lived in India, in Chennai, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. I'm from Kerala. And none of the cities were where my parents were. So I've moved around places. I have lived in Europe, London, Sydney, and the US. And I spent my childhood in Africa. So I think the only continent I've not lived in is probably Alaska, which I hope I can visit. I don't want to live there. So I'm not saying you have to travel the world to be successful, but I think, when you travel and when you live in all of these places, you begin to experience cultures, and the kind of challenges that you face will seem like, everything else is doable. So, very fundamental things to do but if you practice some of these things, believe me, in all the 600,000 people that we have in TCS, not everyone has this attitude. So when we're looking for people who have this attitude, to sort of give them special attention, groom them in their careers, and sort of take them into the leadership roles.
I'll just add to that. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Who's the chairman of Tata Group?
I don't know
who's the chairman of Tata Group? Tata Group, I'm not talking TCS. Oh, go ahead. That's okay. No answer. Okay, yeah, go ahead. N. Chandrasekharan, right? Who was Chandra? Is he from Tata family? No. Tata Group is a family-run business, correct? Here is a chairman of a Tata Group company, which, like you rightly said, right? How do you grow with a company and a group? He joined as a fresher in TCS, took up various roles, became the Chief Operations Officer, became the CEO of TCS, and he never thought when he joined as a fresher into TCS that one day he will become the group chairman, right? Never in his dream. So he has grown with TCS and TCS has grown with him, and he's grown both ways, both in terms of those who feel that it's all about compensation and it's just about patience. Our current CEO of TCS, who's the CEO of TCS? Huh? K. Kriti Vasan, right? Joined as a fresher, headed business units, headed BFSI, the largest business unit in TCS. Today he's the CEO of TCS. Did Kriti even 10 years back thought he would be the CEO? No. Right? So he just continued, like Lakshmi said, the values or the way we, work, the way we administer ourselves. He was flexible. He moved. When they moved, their families moved. Some of them, their families would have never moved out of Chennai. But today, overnight, they moved to Mumbai if that was the need. Right? So these are few things which matters. And the sooner in our career we start accepting and acknowledging these things, future is bright, guys. So don't hold yourself back only with the compensations of the organizations. Look at what value you can add, what value can you get, both.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, one follow-up question, if I may. So you mentioned that you have worked in so many countries. So which one was the best to work with and which one had the best team, basically?
My teams are always good. If I say otherwise, they will kill me. You know what? I've loved working in India the best. It's a little bit of cliche, but only my, I live in the US, but every other month I'm in India for work. So I love, that's another thing I like about my current job, that I get to get the best of both worlds. While I'm settled there, and I have my family there, I have my family here as well. So it helps to balance both the worlds.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Give it to anyone, let the question come.
Now they know that they're getting some goodies, so you have to tell us.
Hello, ma'am.
Interesting question should we get a gift.
Really grateful to have a conversation with you. I'm Shweta Viradi from IT branch. My question was that, as you said in your talk, that you have been a part of developer team, and then you move on to management team. So, which one of the experience was better, or which role you loved more?
I think I love the developer role better. Yeah, management is hard. Developer was easy. But I think every role gave me a strength to, like, for example, I spent, I think up until 2012, which is 12 years back, I've always switched my career between India and whichever country was my client in. And when you run teams in India, for example, you get a better perspective about how work is being done. You're running an ODC, an offshore development center here, is not an easy job. It gives you a broader perspective about various disciplines, HR, infrastructure, network, security. A lot of things come into play apart from your day-to-day delivery responsibility. I wouldn't have been able to understand technology if I had not been a developer, right? And I think I would not have been able to understand management probably if I had not worked in all the disciplines of management. Easier as developer, when we are a developer, and I know that my teams who are developers keep crying about this because they have to, There are some when critical projects happen, sometimes I work over a weekend or whatnot. But I still tell them that is better because when you are a manager, it's like you're always on duty. But I have a fantastic team, and I think my teams have grown with me as well. You know, I've got people who've worked with me for the last 10, 15 years. I've been with the company for so long, so there is a lot of people that I know. So it's become more friends and family than colleagues. You know, that becomes, you have a lot of, you know, when I walk into a crowd of TCS colleagues, I feel I'm at home because I've spent so much of time with them. So, I think, you know, but developer definitely is easy. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. It's a pleasure talking to you. I am Srishti Vani from Automation and Robotics Department. So my question is regarding management and people. So in your whole experience of managing teams, how do you manage different diversities which comes, the people which come with different expectations? So how do you cope up?
It's not easy. That much I can tell you. The best thing to do is don't manage. You know, when you try to manage somebody and make the person think like you are thinking, you know, it's not going to work. Especially, you know, now if having spent so much of time in the company, I am now working with 3 generations of people, including youngsters like you. I'm sure my thought process and your thought process are not going to be the same. I think the way we do is, I believe that everybody brings in a strength and everybody will have weaknesses as well. So we have to just figure out a mechanism on how do we deploy the strengths better and sort of cover up each other's weaknesses. And when you work with different cultures, the Indian mind doesn't work like the Mexican mind. No, it's not. Just as different as the food that we eat, so is the mind. But you have got to accept the fact that they are what they are, and work around it, because you know the project and all of the work that we do also requires people with different dynamics, and so is gender. You know, we have women, we have. So just imagine this team having different generations of people. So people who spend 20 years in the company and people who spend 2 years working with the same team. We have people of different races, and people of different genders. And I'm sure everybody's families are also not going to be the same. So on a particular day, they might bring a different person into the office, depending upon whether they had a good time at home or a bad time at home. But you have to still manage it because you have to deliver to the customer. I can't go and tell my customer, my team member had a fight with his wife, so he couldn't deliver the code. That I don't think that customer is going to accept that. So we have to figure out a way, and it's not easy. So what I do is I don't manage. You know, we just bring it on. There's a lot of organization planning. Prerna's team helps us a lot from an HR perspective. We have to make sure that we don't say or do things that are against the company policies as well. And I think one of your clubs, I forgot the name of the professor who manages your clubs. She was telling me that one of the things that you guys develop here is empathy as part of the skills. I think that is very important, to be empathetic and sensitive to your teams, right? So, like I have a team who is blind. You know, they do ADA testing for blind people. So they have certain constraints that we work around. I have a team. I have a person who is part of my leadership team who is losing his eyesight because of some disease. He's not going to be able to help me 100%, but we still try to work around his disability, because I know that if I release him out, he may not find another project or it might be difficult for him and he's got constraints. So we, like over a period of time, they become just the person behind that. So once you are able to understand the person and help them, I feel they give you more productivity and value when you're able to appreciate that. But it's not easy. I know I'm making it. I felt like quitting my job and going. There are many times I've done that. But I think if you sustain that phase, tomorrow is always a better day. Boys here, I think we should not give any more girls. There's some poor boys who are raising their hands here and there. So can you please pass on the mic to them?
Hi ma'am, good evening. This is Yash Katkar from Automation Robotics Department. Ma'am, actually my question is on the technical side. Like, as we saw in your video that technology is growing. So what are some of the future trends that TCS is focusing on in fields of automation and robotics so that we can align our skill sets accordingly?
See, our investments in TCS, I think about 5 years back, we started investing in Agile as a methodology. I hope all of you have heard about Agile. Yeah? Yes. Yeah. So Agile methodology, cloud and automation, cyber security. These are the 4 disciplines that we started investing in. Then AI ML happened, and now Gen AI happened. So when now we take a broader perspective into automation. So automation is not just about RPA. It is also about, PEGA. For example, you have workflow automation that is coming in. You have LLMs which are coming in as part of generative AI. And what we've also begun to understand is if you want to automate, let's say, for example, I have a life insurance, with, I don't know, let me say, New India Assurance Company, maybe, something you're familiar with. Now, if I want to raise the claim for a policy, there is a process that New India Assurance goes through. If you want to automate the process, which is, you raise the claim, the documents have to be submitted, they send it to the underwriters, they then look at what my policy premium looks like, what I'm eligible for, and then finally, the claim comes back to me in terms of whatever the investment it is. If I want to automate that entire process, we've begun to understand that it requires multitude of technologies, right? So now we're looking at composite AI, which is RPA, Gen AI, AI ML, natural language, everything put together, different aspects of it which will have to be brought together to sort of run the automation that we are expecting. So that is our focus. But our focus is changing every day. So newer and newer researches are happening to find out what is the next best thing about technology that is going to come and how we're going to start investing on it. But now it's about this. The fact that all of you nodded your heads when I spoke about all the technologies itself makes me happy. That's the good thing. The bad thing is when you join, any of these IT firms, you will have to make it a point to know some of these technologies. Some in depth, but mostly breadth-wise, So don't make up your mind that, oh, I will only learn Java and I'll not learn .NET. Or I will only learn Java, but I will not. There are some people who have data skills. They will say, I know informatics, I don't want to learn data. But you will not become a proper data analyst if you do not know a multitude of data technologies. Because a data ecosystem today comprises of multiple technologies, which you will not be able to contribute enough if you do not. So the answer is, this is what the technologies, we have a lot of data technologies. Cloud, every cloud provider has also come out with a different data technology that will work along with them. So you can imagine then what is happening. We have Azure Cloud, we have AWS, we have Google, we have TCS Cloud, right? So each of those cloud partners also brings on their own set of technologies that they integrate with properly. So the ecosystem is becoming bigger, which is good for everyone who likes technology.
Thank you.
Yes, you've been asking a lot of.
For the interruption, this is the last question we are having. The guests have the other task also piled up, so you can connect to ma'am and sir on the social media.
One buffer from our end, 2 questions.
So good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Anand Kavita. So today's seminar was totally based on TCS leadership. So what advice you should do to building students who are aiming to make a transition from technical roles to leadership position in the future?
Thinking, I said 10 years, not 3
See, first of all, what is important for everyone is that don't wait for 15. It is a disaster. You should probably in 5 to 6 years' time, you should be very clear as to what is it that you do. You can choose to go into technology. You don't necessarily have to be a manager. You can choose to move into management. You can become a domain consultant. You can become a process consultant. You can move into marketing. So there is a plethora of career options that are available. Have a clear idea in terms of how, what is the career path you want to choose, and then you choose trainings and mentorships to make it happen. See, many people I have seen choose technology because they feel management is very difficult, which is not saying management is easy. But then if you're choosing a technology role, then you have to become a super technologist. You should be in a position where you don't just code, you're able to build solutions, design architectures for any software systems as well. Able to write white papers on technology, provide a point of view. The problem is, after 20 years experience also, somebody remains as a developer, then your job is at stake. Because then you will find somebody like you to come and replace them. So I think it's not important about what is the base if you want to make the switch. You can make the switch because, for example, even in HR, if you look at our CHR, he came from the business. So there are discipline switching that you can do. Whatever is your base, do it properly. Did I answer your question?
Hello, ma'am. So I'm Sanika Indre from Computer Science and Business Systems Department. So my question is that AI is emerging technology, and you have been working in the BFSI domain since many years. So how AI is integrated in BFSI domain, as TCS has their own AI system separately?
So when we think about AI in any world, we look at AI from 3 parts. One is AI for technology, AI for business, and AI for the enterprise. AI for technology is developer productivity. So for example, if I'm writing a greenfield code, if I want, I can use LLMs to generate Java. Or a lot of this insurance and banking customers have legacy platforms, right? Platform in the past, it was difficult for us to extract the rules from the legacy platform. So moving them into modern technologies was always very tough. Now with AI coming in, you are able to extract business rules and get it converted into Java. So that is AI for technology. So developer productivity is something that we've been using mostly for from an AI perspective. AI for business is call center, right? You call a call center. If your customer experience in a call center has to become better, we're trying to see how AI can be enabled to go through data and provide the right information to the right type of the calling agent, so that whatever your request is can be done. I just spoke about workflow automation, right, for life insurance. That's another classic example. Claims processing, and then this is in the banking world, right? And in banking, for example, the payment systems, a lot of AI work is happening on the data side to sort of bring out clean data, quality data, governing the data properly. And AI is where, though TCS has, which is a platform which will house all the LLM solutions that can be contextualized for a particular business. We are also helping customers build their own platforms from customer platform. So that is AI for enterprise. So these are the different dimensions in which AI is used today.
Thank you, ma'am. As we come to the close of this enlightening and inspiring session, it is my privilege to express a heartfelt gratitude to all those who made this event possible. Firstly, I would like to send a sincere thanks to Ms. Lakshmi Nair, ma'am. Your leadership and insight into the banking and financial services industry have been truly motivating. A special thanks to Ms. Prerna Sinha, ma'am, Mr. Rishikesh Dhande, sir, Mr. Vishal Rampalle, sir, for their presence. Thank you for sharing your experience and motivating our students. I hope our students will focus on building their contextual knowledge, focus on team building, illustrating teams. I think the highlighting statement for today's event is opportunity may or may not come to you, but you need to grab this. Thank you for taking the time to engage us with today. Your presence and contribution have added immense value to this event and have provided our students with a unique opportunity to learn directly from leaders. A special thanks to our management, faculty members, students, excellent support in organizing this program and ensuring its success. Once again, thank you for being part of this wonderful event. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Please come on stage for the group photograph.
Now you guys just get up.